informative. Hello and welcome back to Ka Iking Live. Our topic this time is public-private partnerships, and for that, our guest is no other than the Executive Director of the Philippine Center for PPP, Executive Director Cosette Canilao. Good evening, Ms. Canilao.
Good evening, Ike.
We're eager to find out. Take the floor. Tell us about PPP. What is it?
Yeah, the public-private partnership program was identified by this government as one of its key agenda in fast-tracking infrastructure development. When this administration took over in 2010, they've already identified that we need to catch up with our infrastructure development, and there's not enough public funds that would be able to that would enable government to build all the infrastructure that we need. Hence, the private sector is now being we need the participation of the private sector in terms of infrastructure development. And that's
just
through
for
PPP.
comparison, how different is that from the old build, operate, transfer scheme?
The build, operate, transfer scheme is just one of the modalities by which PPP is done.
Okay.
Yeah, so the anchor law of the public-private partnership program is still the build, operate, transfer law. And we are actually in the process of updating the law, and we've proposed several amendments to incorporate the reforms that we've initiated.
Well, most of the time we hear about big projects like airports.
Yes.
What else would be the other examples?
Airports, toll roads, seaports, trains, subways, commuter trains.
Always the big ticket.
Not necessarily. Like, for example, the fare collection system, which was successfully bid out by the Department of Transportation and Communication. It was only a 2 billion peso project. Only, well, in terms of, relative to the others that we've been rolling out.
How big is big?
The biggest right now that we've recently auctioned is the LRT Line 1 extension, and that the project cost of that one is 65 billion pesos. Yes, and the biggest one that we are bidding out is the DPWH's Laguna Lakeshore Road Dike project. That's around 122 billion.
How small is small? Can it go below a billion?
Yes, it can. Actually, the local government units, they can do PPPs, and and they can actually, the smallest that they could do is, there's no minimum amount.
There's no minimum.
Yeah.
So if the local government unit would do a PPP, do they still have to go through you?
Actually, we are also mandated to build the capacity of the LGUs. So our assistance mostly for LGUs are just that, building their capacity, and at the same time helping them draft the policies and the codes, local codes that would prepare their government to undertake PPPs.
These are usually local ordinances.
Local ordinances, that's right.
So the authority to go into PPP comes from the municipal council.
Yes.
And you would be functioning like an advisory capacity?
Mostly, yes. We have several programs that we've initiated right now for the LGUs. Like we have what we call, we train the local universities so that they could advise the LGUs in terms of doing PPPs. And we also came up with an LGU PPP manual to help the LGUs, roll out their PPPs. And we're working with the DILG in terms of putting together a uniform LGU code for PPPs.
But when you are helping the LGUs, you are coming in not as an authority, but as an advisor, right?
Yes, mostly in that capacity, yes.
So what can be covered by it? Again, maybe local toll roads can be covered?
If the projects, for example, if they undertake bigger projects and it's through the BOT law, then the LGU will need to seek the ICC Investment Coordination Committee, Cabinet Committee approval. And if it goes beyond a certain threshold, then it has to go through the NEDA board.
When you say PPP or BOT, I'm sorry, there has to be a tariff?
Depends. For revenue generating infrastructure, then yes, there is a tariff or fare that can be charged against the users. But we also have what we call the social infrastructures, like the schools and the hospital, or it's the government that pays the private sector to put up the infrastructure facility.
And this would be what? In the form of lump sum payments?
Yes, we call
staggered?
it availability payments.
Okay.
The lingo for that one would be availability payments, and we pay for the availability of the service.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like the private sector fronting the money.
Yes.
And then the government would be able to afford it because the payment is staggered.
True. That's true, yeah.
Fantastic. Would that include IT projects?
Yes, the automated fare collection system is
It's an IT project?
Is mostly an IT project,
Uh-huh.
and we're hoping the NSO, the National Statistics Office, computerization of that was an IT project also done through the PPP
But
or
that had a tariff, right?
Yes, user charge. We call it a user
User
charge.
charge.
Like for example, if
names
you
are
want,
changing.
if you want to get for example, a copy of our birth certificate through mail, we pay something, and then if we want it through what you call this registered mail, or we want to pick it up, there's a separate.
So
user fee
generally,
charges.
the fee-based approach is acceptable.
Yes,
PPP.
it is. It is.
I remember I was part of the early days of the DFA passport project,
Yes.
and at that time, DFA had to build a structure to become compliant with BOT. Because at that time, IT was not yet, I think, recognized as a project that would stand on its own. So now there's no more requirement for a building?
There's none actually, and even the existing BOT law, there's no restriction as to the scope of an IT project.
Okay.
Maybe that was just a misunderstanding of the law here before.
But IT projects do not always go up to the level of billions.
Well, the automatic fare collection system, it's around 2 billion because you have to provide, for example, some of the hardware as well as establish the software and some of the turnstiles. So it can go not as much as what as other infrastructure projects. Yes.
Is it always a bidding, or can it be, what do you call it,
Negotiated.
unsolicited?
Well, under the law, we can do a solicited or an unsolicited mode of procurement for PPPs. Both undergo a bidding process. Like for example, for unsolicited proposals, it has to undergo a Swiss challenge, which is some sort of a bidding.
Okay.
Yeah. So if a proponent proposes a project, and the government will have to agree on the terms, and that those agreed terms will have to be offered to the public.
Who will do the terms? The one who offers the unsolicited?
Yes, and that will be negotiated between the original proponent and that of the government, what's acceptable to the government.
But it starts with someone having a bright idea, right?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, fantastic. Do you have some examples of successful unsolicited?
For this administration, since the PPP Center, we have not done an unsolicited proposal yet. The one that's on the table is the proposal of Metro Pacific, which is the NLEX-SLEX connector road, which is a different alignment from that.
But that one is solicited, right?
No, it's unsolicited.
Really? That's their idea?
Yes, they're using a new technology to build because you have two conditions under which you can do an unsolicited proposal. If it's not in the pipeline of projects, of the priority list of projects of the implementing agency, or if there's a new technology that's being introduced.
Oh, it can be an old concept, like it can be a bridge, it can be a roadway.
Yes, and
as long as it's a new concept.
New technology. If there's a new technology that's being introduced, it could be an unsolicited proposal.
So somehow it's aligned to the IPP, is it?
Yes.
How does that work? Tell us.
What do you mean by the IPP? I was referring to PIP.
Investment Priorities Plan.
Oh yes, okay.
Incentivizing something new.
Well, in some ways we have for as long as it's aligned with the priority list of projects of the implementing agents. If it's under two conditions under which they could do an unsolicited proposal, if it's not in the list of priority projects and if there's new technology, well, there are incentives available under the IPP for both solicited and unsolicited proposals. Yeah.
I have a think tank in Makati, and we've come up with this idea of a high-rise, high-tech parking turntable like the one you see in the movies. Would that kind of an idea qualify as an unsolicited
proposal for as long as there's new technology that's being offered?
There is.
Yeah.
Well, most of the parking in Metro Manila now are the circular type. You have to go around. But no one has done the, what do you call this, turntable?
Yeah. Like in the...
You've seen that in Japan.
James Bond
James
movie.
Bond, yeah.
Yeah.
So that might qualify, huh?
Yes, I think that would qualify, but that's going to be proposed to the LGU, I suppose, to the local government.
Probably, yes. Probably that's local. So that might be in the scale of 2 billion only.
Thereabouts.
Yeah. What about post-harvest facilities?
Yes.
Like milling, drying,
Oh,
silo?
yeah. Yes, those are also projects that can be done through PPP. Although some would argue that post-harvest facilities can be purely private. But there is some merits to government also being involved in the development of post-harvest facilities through PPPs.
Well, what's important is you're open to it and it could be evaluated.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say there's a bright guy who comes up with an idea for another bridge.
Another bridge.
Passive.
Yeah.
Another bridge, and it's not in the government plan. And he says, he argues, oh, I'm going to put up a bridge here, and I have got investors to do it. Is that okay?
Yes, that could be an unsolicited proposal, and then it will be evaluated if there's economic value to doing that. And for unsolicited proposals, for as long as the government does not have a subsidy, then yeah, it could be evaluated as an unsolicited proposal.
Fantastic. How about reclamation?
Reclamation, yes, that can also be, and under the BOT law, it's also one of the projects that can be done through PPPs.
Well, I read that you have several big projects lined up.
Yes.
Will most of those be completed within the term of the president?
No, actually. Like, for example, out of the 7 that we've already awarded, we believe that 5 will be completed by 2016.
Tell us about the 5.
That's the first 2 phases of the classrooms that are being built by the private sector right now for the DepEd.
Are those under PPP?
Yes, under PPP, under a build, lease, transfer, and build transfer modality.
All right, okay.
And then the automatic fare collection system, we expect that to be online by next year. And then the NAIA Expressway Phase 2, and that will actually connect the airport terminals into the commercial business districts in both Makati and Pasay and Parañaque. And then the other one would be the first one that was awarded, which is the Anghari Connector Road.
So it has to be something of national character to go through you directly. And if it's local in character, it goes to the LGU.
Yes, but we also have another program wherein we help the LGUs in the development, in the preparation of the project up until approval. So we are running that project for LGUs that we think have the capability and the buy-in to really do a PPP, and we're in their project is really in.
Well, you mentioned that BOT is one of the modalities. What are the other variations?
Yeah, build, lease, transfer, build, transfer, rehab, operate and transfer, contract, add and transfer. So there's a lot of
so all the names, BOO, BOT.
Yeah, BOO, BOT, BTO.
Are still okay.
Yes, they're still okay. It's a matter of the level of private sector engagement.
You've announced all the big ones. Are you still evaluating some medium scale?
The bigger ones that we hope we could roll out in the next 12 months or so would be the Laguna Lecture. It's ongoing right now. The north-south commuter rail, the south from Tutuban to Calamba, the revival of the PNR line, And then the subway that would connect Fort Bonifacio with Makati and Pasay
Oh,
Parañaque.
really?
That's the first
It's
one.
going to be a real subway?
It's going to be a
We're
real
going to have subways, the
subway.
Ninja Turtles? Yeah, wow, fantastic.
Yeah, the first one. I hope,
Uh-huh.
yeah, we need to think bigger. We're no longer just, you know, we need to believe that we can do it, that we'll have this. Right?
How about dredging of bays and
Dredging.
rivers and lakes maybe?
For the Laguna Lake, sure, there's a reclamation. It's a flood mitigating project as well as a toll road, and at the same time, DPWH, the government is going to give reclamation rights to the highest to the winner, and that
Okay.
is to defray cost of constructing the road dike.
Would it be correct to say that if a project would encompass 2 or more LGUs, it would already be something of national character?
That's right. That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
Because
The other project that we're excited about is the motor vehicle inspection system, because right now we're experiencing a lot of road accidents because of the non-roadworthiness of the vehicles that's flying our streets or our roads. So the motor vehicle inspection system aims to correct
is that up for bidding already, or is it done?
It's already with the PPP Center for and the Technical Working Group for evaluation. After which it will go to the Inter-Cabinet Investment Coordination Committee, and then to the NEDA board.
Would you entertain something like in Hong Kong and Australia? I think they have this one pass. Octopus.
That's the automatic. That's the automatic fare collection system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's that's
so
the
that's
one pass.
air, land, and sea.
Well, right now it's for the 3 lines: MRT line 1, 2, and 3. And the OTC is hoping to broaden it to other modes of transport.
Because in Hong Kong, I think it's the way they call it octopus. It includes taxi and
Taxis,
bus
yes.
and ferry.
Yes, that's the plan of the DOTC, to expand it to other modes of transport later on.
But the initial bid will be for rail.
The one that we've included in our business plan are just for the rail.
So is that solicited?
Solicited.
What about add-ons? Say someone will say, hey, I want to add on the ferry. Can that be unsolicited?
No, there's already a scheme that's already included in the scheme of the automatic fare collection system, wherein after 5 years, there's going to be a mechanism by which the other transport mode can apply and get the same car.
I've asked too many questions. We have 3 more minutes left. Maybe we can spend that for you to educate the public. Let's say there's a rich guy out there who wants to put his money into something. Maybe you can tell them how to do it.
Yes, there's actually a lot of interest for our PPP projects from foreign investors, and they really sometimes they don't want to come in cold, and they want to partner with our local businessmen. And I think our local businessmen should really look at infrastructure as another investment class. And although we have really big projects right now, we also have medium-sized projects, not only for LGUs, but also for national projects. Like, for example, the integrated transport system. Well, it's smaller compared to the other projects that we have, but the environment is already prepared for private sector engagement. We're attracting foreign investors to come in, and what we really need to do is for the local businessmen to come up, to stand, to step up, and also get to know what PPP is all about.
Okay. Well, if you think there's still updates from your part after today, you're welcome to come back here and we can talk about it again.
Sure, thank you.
In fact, I think we could be telling the people more, but we have very limited time.
Yes.
So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, good night.
All right.
Thank
Take it
you.
away, baby.
Okay.